Hello, friends. Welcome to the monthly satsang. I'm going to probably retry this. I do not know why my setup did not work, so please bear with me. Okay, I'll just give it a little time so that people have chance to latch onto the channel. So just give me a few seconds, and in few minutes, few seconds or few minutes, I'll be back. Thank you. Hello, friends. Welcome back. Sorry for the little hiccup. Let me just clean up my screen a little. Too many things here. Okay. All right. Looks like I lost a few things. Anyway, hope you are able to see me. Welcome back to the monthly satsang. And I know it's been a tough period for a lot of satsangi friends and everybody all over the world. People have been reaching out to me um, and other folks as well. And we are all trying to help in this pandemic, epidemic that we are seeing with coronavirus. I know it has impacted a lot of friends and families in India. I know several of satsangis' families have been terribly impacted, and we are Isha per se is not involved, but on an individual basis, people are trying to do whatever they can. This is a tough period because some lives have been lost and dear ones have been separated from us. It seems quite untimely when we hear of the news like this that somebody has passed away. Our Ishwaji himself passed away recently, whose picture you see next to me. So we have been kind of dealing with this for quite some time now, and this has not only hampered our normal life, but seems like going forward also it might have an impact because we are having to wear masks and take precaution all the time. And although things are coming back to normal slowly, I think it is also causing a lot of damage. Like people have been confined in their homes, and psychologically, it's taking a toll. I was talking to one of the psychologist friends, and he was saying that even the younger folks have been getting impacted due to this because they are used to going to school and used to sort of social interaction. Now because of this coronavirus, they're confining themselves to the home, and it is taking a toll on parents' life as well. Uh, so these situations come up uh, often. If you look into the history, uh, these kind of epidemics have been around with us for a long time. People have died in large numbers because of viruses going on. If you look into the history, you'll find that probably in the 14th century there was a plague, and millions of lives. I think almost 50% of the population got impacted at the time. And there have been cases of flus, swine flu was recent, and Ebola. So it is nothing new. Humanity has been dealing with sort of natural calamities like this. Uh, Different kind of fevers, flu have been, of course, one of the most in terms of cost taking life. It has been very costly. It has impacted a lot of people. So this we see occurrence of these viruses often in history, and humanity seems like is unable to deal with these situations. And in comparison to what nature does, human life seems to be very frail. uh, if you look at into the larger cosmic time, we have been here uh, in this universe for 14 billion years according to science. And we have, if you consider the larger time frame, when according to science, uh, big bang happened, and the world that we see around us, stars, milky way, different galaxies, black holes, different elements started forming. uh, and in the context of larger time frame, our lifespan of maybe 100 years at most is very minuscule in comparison. I was watching this show by a scientist called Neil deGrasse Tyson in a episode of Cosmos. I happened to see it when I was flying, and he talked about how the universe came into being according to science. Science is still, of course, trying to understand how this universe that we see outside has been formed, and many scientists have been trying to give an answer. And there have been some fundamental forces that were discovered, and they're trying to still sort of combine the fundamental forces like electricity, magnetism, nuclear forces, gravitational forces, and so on. So they're trying to sort of explain human nature by its curiosity when it runs into difficulty, like uh, we see with the epidemic. Natural question is that why are we suffering? And it's amazing that when we lose life, that is when we realize the value of life. I mean, if you see the population of Earth, it's 7 8 billion human beings, and of course there are a lot of other species residing on this planet. But only when the life is lost and we feel a pain in our life, especially when a loss of a person, that's when we think that there is something called life. And we sort of try to answer that. And science has been looking at this question for much longer, or as long as human beings have been around. At least in the last few hundred years of development that you see, we have been able to science have been able to develop these telescopes through which we can sort of measure. And science has been developed in such a way that through mathematics and equation, and some fundamental reasoning, you can go behind and understand what this universe is like. So science has been trying to get an answer, but from at a human level, we also try to understand what is death, why do we suffer, So these questions arise only when calamities like the current one that we are seeing happens. In the past, there have been other events also. Sometimes not natural, although people are, questioning whether this virus is, what is the nature of this virus, because it seems to be, mutating so rapidly. Anyway, without going into conjecture, there are, in the past there have been other events which sort of also trigger us to think why these things are happening to us. Like in the past, we have had so many wars. If you look at wars in the last century itself, we have had World War One, Two, Vietnam War, we had Gulf War, uh, we there have been attacks in Syria, Iraq. We It seems like human beings somehow are always, when there is a quiet period, somebody comes up with an idea of expanding their sort of universe, or the parts of the world that they rule. And so it's in the sort of human nature to gather more and more. And so in this case, it happens that, okay, maybe somebody who is in power wants to occupy more space. And this is not true of just now in last few hundred years, but if you look at the big empires, they have also been trying to expand their scope of their empire. uh, Alexander himself, he wanted to rule the whole world, and at the end, just before his deathbed, he realized the futility of uh, amassing so much wealth that could not even prolong his life for few hours. He was trying to go back to home after conquering a lot of places, and he fell ill. And he was asking his ministers if he could get another hour so that he could go back to his birthplace, because he wanted to. When he eventually realized that, okay, he will die because of his sickness, he just wanted few hours of extra life granted to him. But so we do not understand why our lives are suddenly taken away, and how does this life actually works. So these critical questions only come to us when there is a misery associated with it. Somehow mind feels that, although there is ups and downs in our life, when there is a misery, we somehow feel the impact of that, maybe in hundred folds. So imagine you have a good period going on with you, and if you had 100 hours, as Ishaji used to say himself, if you had 100 hours of pleasure, that pleasurable time would go away so quickly that it would feel to you that you have only spent 1 hour in enjoying your life. Whereas if you had 1 hour of difficult period, it might feel so miserable that you might feel that you have spent 100 hours in this situation. So mind has a strange way of sort of measuring these ups and downs. But ups and downs have been here with us. Uh, as I was earlier saying, that we have a population of close to 7 billion on this earth. Uh, it would not be 7 billion if people have been dying all the time. Of course, when people have been born, that's why the population is so large. So if we were to measure against that, a lot of people say that the population of this earth is too large. This planet cannot sustain such a huge amount of life. So but if you were to measure it in the right context, that, okay, there are so many people being born, and so one day they have to die, because whoever is born has to die. It's just that circumstances are different at different point in time. Some people die because of illness, like the one we are seeing in coronavirus. Sometimes it's just wars, man-made wars most of the time. So if you try to look for answers using your mind as to why it happened, it's very difficult to get an answer, because all we have is this current lifetime. So we know when we are born, what are the things we do, and at the end, it doesn't seem like there is any rationale to why something happened to us. Whereas masters and yogis tell us that this life is actually balanced. There is equal positive and equal negative. But as I said earlier, mind perceives it in different ways. So we feel that the we are dealing with more misery. In fact, I used to feel that this planet Earth is maybe like a dustbin, because imagine the kind of things that goes on. People have been warring with each other. People have so much jealousy. There is so much competition to go ahead in life, and people are almost at odds with each other. So I myself felt that, okay, this is a strange place. People, why should people hurt each other so much? Why there is so much greed? And if you just look around, the amount of poverty that you can see, even in United States, even though it is such a rich country, uh, in if you just take a tour of United States, go through maybe all the small towns. In fact, I recently had the opportunity to drive all the way from Chicago to one of the western states, and as you pass through different geography, you would realize that people are living in so much poverty. On one side, there are people who have billions of dollars worth sitting in the bank, or Wall Street. There are other on the other side, people struggle to have food for a day or shelter. So there is so much contrast. It's amazing that life can sustain itself like this on this planet. And so in fact, that reminds me of Gautam Buddha. When Gautam Buddha, he was before he became Gautam Buddha, basically he gained his enlightenment. Before that, as a young child, when in fact his parents used to make sure that he did not go out of the palace. So he was a prince, and so parents made sure that he was not shown the true state of the world, because if he saw that, he would probably get disturbed, and they did not want the young prince to sort of get traumatized by the reality of what exists in the real life, and they wanted him to have a good time in the palace. But this young prince figured out a way to go outside. And as he walked out of the palace and saw a few events where he saw an old man sort of in crutches, and he saw his skin in a very bad condition, and he was walking with a stick, and his back was bent. It really traumatized him, and he got a jolt sort of, and he wanted to understand what is this condition, because he inside the palace he was totally isolated, and he did not know. So after that, his quest began, and he wanted to know what is this person that he saw. Is that what happens to a man? He seemed like a man, and what is that condition? So he started inquiring, and as he went deeper into that, and eventually, he wanted to get all the answers, and he left his palace, and eventually he got enlightenment. So what I'm trying to say is that this positive and negative is sort of reality of the life, but we do not understand at any point in time why a specific thing happened to us. And master tell us that in fact, what we have, this life that we have been given, we are very fortunate, because not many species in their life they get a chance. So it is described in Puranas that there are 8.4 million 84 lakh uh, types of forms of life in this created universe. I do not know how they figured it out. Probably those rishis, munis in meditation could travel and go to the source and find out. So in one of the Indian text Purana, it is described that there are 84 lakh or 8.4 million forms of life, and they have apparently categorized those forms. And majority of the life forms, almost 5.4 million, are in planet are in plant, like shrubs, trees, and those things. And within ocean, there's a large population that exists inside the ocean, and our latest equipments also cannot reach that far, where even the light cannot find its way. And as equipments are becoming stronger, and it can travel further into the base of the ocean, they're discovering more and more species. So life exists on this planet in many forms, and probably outside of this planet as well. We are still discovering. It amazes me if you have watched any science shows, maybe on Cosmos or other documentaries. They talk about trillions of stars, probably billions of galaxies. And if you look at the map of the whole created universe as it is studied by, I guess, different kind of instrument using either gamma rays or X-rays or different kind of measurement, it seems like this our Milky Way and the galaxy that we are in, it is so small. If you were to take a picture and try to locate this place that we are at, our galaxy is, it won't even fit into the size of a pinhead. And within this maybe solar system, we are just a small part, this Earth, and within this Earth, we are just a small human being. And it seems like it's almost improbable that life would exist just on this tiny place. I remember Ishaji once talking about giving this analogy that look at our perceptions, the kind of sense perceptions that we have. We have eyes, ears, nose, so with the eyes, we only see a particular wavelength. And so we see our different colors and some luminosity. But beyond that, we do not have any way of seeing. We cannot, our sense perceptions cannot reach into those, like X-rays, gamma rays, different temperature that is there, reading the or radio waves. So if, let's say, life existed in those forms, we won't be able to even perceive those. So our perception of the world that we create is sort of limited by our perception. And so we have been given this unique life to sort of see this world. We take birth, we die. When we die, when we see our loved ones die, then the question arises in us, what is this life? Human being seems to, if you just look at, you might have heard somebody has died, and you might realize that, okay, you have just seen this person a couple of days back who was in a healthy condition. But even prior to death, it seems like parts of our body seem to operate properly. Like your heartbeat may be okay, your digestive system may be okay, your respiratory system may be okay. Different parts of the system is actually working independently and in a healthy way. And when a person dies, suddenly, as if all of them together operated independently, now they cannot operate. There is something that has left that was powering those systems. And even though from physical standpoint they are all intact, so when somebody dies, maybe the heart stops working. But if you look at the physical condition of the heart itself, it may be in a functioning state. I mean, that is why when people die, and there maybe some organs are taken and given to a healthy person, those still seem to work. So life is sort of mysterious, and that's when we start asking, what is the meaning of life? Why are we here? This function of uh, sort of sadness or calamity, hurt that is caused to us, has an important role in understanding what this life is. I think without some of these things happening in our life, probably we'll all be enjoying this life. Of course, as Ishaji used to say, the purpose of life is to enjoy the life. It was a Moj. The creator had this Indian word called Moj. That means there is no particular reason why it is created. It is just created for its own sake, because he was having fun. Creator was in his lab probably designing things and was having fun. So as a result of that, he created. But sitting here in this place, with all of us having our own bodies, it feels painful sometimes that if you have lost loved ones, or if you have some disease that you're trying to overcome, it seems extremely painful. As I was telling earlier, that we are fortunate, because there are so many types of life forms in this world. 8.4 million types of life, and apparently, just this life form, the life form that we have been given, is one of the unique ones that have where a human being have been endowed with this thing called free will, where we seem to make all the decisions. We know what is good for us, what is not so good for us. When we see a bad situation, we can react on it. When we find a pleasurable situation, we assess that. We tell our mind, or our mind interprets that as a very good sensation. We feel good. And so, based on these impulses, we know how to react. We can change our direction. We can decide what to do with our life. Uh, as Ishaji used to say, if you are given coffee, tea, you can decide between those two, or you can also say whether you want to take none of these. Yes, genes do play a role. In our life, a lot of things are probably decided ahead of time. Ishaji used to say that a lot of because of our past karmas, this body has been given to us. You could have had, out of 8.4 million life forms, you could have had any of these, but we were given this because of our balance of karma. There is a positive and negative karma that we have created in our life, because of which this life has been given to us. Whereas other life forms, if you look at just plants, animals, they just routinely go about doing their business. They do not have the ability to make a judgment on whether this is good or that is bad. They sort of, you can say, they are like robots. It's just they are biological robots. So they act on impulses. In a lot of cases, 5.4 million of these species, like trees, plants, so on, they have their mind is not so evolved. So, and the number of elements in their body is limited, and because of which they are sort of confined to lower realms of life forms. Whereas on a higher planes, let's say your mind is very evolved. You are, maybe one of the gods staying in heaven, and you are, because of your good karmas, you are enjoying those lives. So depending on what you have done in the past, you could be you could be in the lower forms. You could take birth in the lower forms, or you could be granted higher forms, because you have accumulated a lot of good karma, and now you need to reap rewards for that. So this kal chakra, or chakras of 8.4 million life forms, is called, because when you die, you have to again sort of take, you have accumulated sort of karma. So when you are given a life, you act on your life, and based on the judgment you pass to yourself, you create karma, and that is called Kareman karma. And based on that, your future life when you pass away is decided. So if you have accumulated a lot of, let's say, you have done good deeds, you have given with the intent that you wanted to do good to other people, because you wanted to reap rewards of that. You are not just doing it because you wanted to do it, but you had maybe internally you had desire to reap the rewards of this. So you would go into higher life forms. So maybe you'll go to heaven, and hopefully you will be able to satisfy all your desires. And I think masters have talked about in the past what kind of desires you can satisfy. I mean, to motivate people to come onto this path. In fact, uh, great master Sawan Singh Ji, who was the master of my master Ishuji, used to sometime tell ladies that in higher planes you can find tall trees that have a lot of diamonds, rubies, and so on, and you can have all the desires satisfied, so that they would turn their attention towards inside and find the meaning of this life. And so yes, if you could go into, if you're born into those life forms, you'll be able to satisfy a lot of your urges, desires. And but you won't have what is called free will, because your mind is so evolved that you are able to see into the future. Whereas sitting in this plane, this existence as a human being, we are endowed, we do not have that evolved mind. So we are somewhere in between. So we do not have any knowledge of what is going to have happen in the future. And because of that, we have this seeking, because we can act on certain things and realize later that what I did was wrong, and repent. And when calamities happen to you, sad things happen to you, you ask yourself why you are here, and then you want to find an answer for all that. And then science is one means through which people go about finding answers. And but science has been trying to do that for some time now. They have explained that there is a big bang that happened 14 billion years back. And so I saw this program by the scientist, Cosmos, as I was explaining. So he divided 14 years into a cosmic calendar. So I was just trying to explain how small our life is in comparison to the cosmos. And so if we were to fit the 14 years into this calendar, 1 year worth of calendar, then in September, this earth was formed. And we are, as a human being, we just appeared recently, probably 100,000 years back. Earlier we were hunter gatherer, and now we are evolved species. And we have just spent a minute doing that in the larger scheme of things. So it's our time spent here is extremely small. So with this endowed feature of free will, we can now ask critical questions as to why things are happening to me. And so a lot of saints in the past have given us answer. Like Socrates said, "Know thyself." People have said that kingdom of God is within you, and all you can find everything inside you. You just have to seek inside. Vivekanand said that he's an illusion that is trying to tell other illusions that everything exists inside, and the reality exists inside. Even Master Ishaji, he said that follow any master who says go inside, because he's pointing you in the right direction. So how do we go inside? Is there any validity to all of this, that answer can be found inside as opposed to science? Science has been trying to 14 billion years, and they have developed strong telescopes that can look far beyond what was possible in just last 30, 40 years. And but it has also run into difficulties, like it has looked at atoms at a very microscopic level, and been it has actually stumbled. They have got into a particle level and have been confused by whether small, atomic particles act like just particles, or they act like wave. And sometimes when they try to look at what seems like a wave, when they try to observe that, it becomes a particle. And but when you are not looking at this phenomena, it acts like wave. So they have been kind of it has caused a conundrum to them as to how to explain it. And one of the famous scientists, Albert Einstein, towards his late years, last before passing away, he regretted that he did not factor in the role of conscious being who is trying to observe. Ishaji sort of gave, elaborated some of that experience. He talked about double slit experiment. I know Ishaji was quite fond of science, and he truly, as a seeker, delved into all these matters. And he was quite, he would keep up with whatever research was going on in terms of finding the latest and greatest experiment to uncover this mystery of duality of these particles acting as a wave and sometimes acting as a particle. So science has been trying to get its answer, and but what saints have talked about is how to find the answer by doing experiments inside. And they have explained tried to explain in different ways as to just to satisfy the mind why this creation is the way it is, and also sort of empirically how to through experience find out for yourself what the reality is. Ultimately, what we are talking about is the reality that we see outside. You are watching me now on YouTube, although you are seeing it on your probably screen monitor. And so, is that real? What makes it real? What makes you believe that what is happening is real? Because you are probably physically, through your eyes, you are able to see me, you are able to hear my voice, and so uh, saints, I would say, a lot of mistakes in the past, and Ishwaji uh, explained to us how this whole construct, looking from the top, works. Because I believe he was a perfect living master, and he explained in a very methodical way how this creation appears. Just to go over it briefly, he said that we are all one consciousness, but we are appearing as different bodies because the single consciousness or single soul wanted to have experience as many. So it, call it he, she, it, individuated itself into many. It did not split, it just reduced its surface area. It just contracted its consciousness, awareness, to this small form in which we see ourselves in, and through us, it is experiencing. So first level of creation was that it, as an individuation, it created many souls out of just one soul. And this is all happening in Sachkhand, the only place where things are happening in reality. And so out of one soul, many souls were created. And as an experience, we attached a mind to ourselves. With the mind, we were able to perceive or experience anything at the same time. And along with that, time and space was created. So mind is the one that creates time and space. So the notion that there is a huge space and in time you can travel across any dimensions of the space is the facet of mind. But it could do anything at one go. It did not, if it wanted to, but it wanted more and more experience. So it created another cover on top of mind called sense perceptions or astral body, and divided five sense perceptions. And after that, so it could have the sense perceptions operate itself. So the reality that we are seeing outside, these are coming to us through sense perception. You seeing me visually is happening through your visual sense perception through your eyes, the power of seeing, and you are able to hear me through power of hearing. Uh, Now, so that was another cover that was given to us at an astral level, and to deepen this experience, we were then given the physical cover, where you have a much larger physical life. You can actually you have been given a body through which it seems like the sense perceptions are operating. So you have a physical eye through which you are seeing. You have nose, mouth, you have ears, and so all the inner sense perceptions seem to overlap with whatever you are seeing physically, and we are led to believe that we have this physical body, and through which everything is working. The awareness that we have, the world that is created outside us, is because of the physical body that we have. And masters have given us a way to discover the reality by going back. And what they have said is we are using our consciousness to spread it outside and discover what mind has created outside. So if we were to pull that awareness back from where it is going out, we'll be able to realize who we truly are. And the fact is that we are truly a soul right now in such kind operating as one. And through their masters, through their own experience, have told us that we are all one, just looking as if we have different bodies. And this is all done for the Moj and for the creation. And it doesn't have any meaning per se, but because it wanted to experience, the soul, the ultimate soul, wanted to experience some a duality, because in Sachkhand, everything is great, hunky dory, you are in peace, you're elated, but you wanted to, for heightened awareness, so we he it decided to create things in opposite, so that it can have a perception of opposite creation and can enjoy it even more. So how do we and masters have given us a way to find out the true reality without going outside, because their teachings have been that you have to go inside to find the reality. And how do we do it? They have said that if you can mimic how death happens and sort of imitate, uh, then we will be able to get closer to reality. Now, of course, when you die, you won't be able to. When you die, you would know whether you are still alive after your death or not. But it will be too late for you to come back into, because you can't go back into the physical life that died, and you won't be able to tell others that, hey, you are still around, even after death. But if you can mimic that same process in reverse, then we would be able to find if we die after our death or not. So if we were to just realize that death is nothing but opposite of birth, and you existed before birth, so death is just going back from where you came from. So if you could reverse the process, and then you will be able to find the reality. And how do we reverse the process? uh, Ishwarji mentioned in several of his talks that we have been busy exploring the world outside, and the world outside is extremely tempting. So our attention always stays outside. So the way to it takes time through meditation, and he in his talks talked about the approaches that you can use, devices that you can use in your meditation to go back and find the place where you truly exist. So one of the technique that he talked about is, for a moment in your meditation, so you have to sit in meditation, and sit in the way that you feel like, where you are more comfortable. Make a chair of your imagination. Imagine that your head is a meditation room, and you are sitting at the level of your eye. Imagine there are lines going back, and it's meeting your if you were to put a line between your two ears, and where the eyes and ears meet, there is a bench. And sit there and try to imagine that you are sitting in the middle of a meditation hall. And sit make yourself comfortable, sit in the middle. And you have to truly imagine that you are sitting there. With the process of imagination, and with the intensity, the result depends on the intensity with which you are actually imagining. When you are imagining, your attention is somewhere else. I think this whole game is of attention, as Ishaji used to say. The one of the fundamental powers that we have been given is the power of attention. With attention, we see everything. If we, things may be happening around you, but if you're not paying attention to it, you will not be aware of it. So by keeping this attention to wherever you want, you can detach from the world that is around you and go somewhere else. So you may be physically sitting in one place in your house, in a room, on a comfortable chair. But if you imagine something else, then you are sort of mentally transported into this different world, where you have no connection with where you are. And when you are at that place, uh, things automatically start happening as you imagine. Let's say you imagine a master's face, or activities that you have done with masters, that you have seen in the past. If you had a chance to meet your loved ones, if you imagine that. So he emphasized a lot on the power of imagination. And it sort of reminds me of a story of Pandavas. So in Indian epic, Mahabharata, there are Pandavas, and there are five brothers, and Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul, Sadev. These are five brothers, and they are known for their skills. And Arjun is supposedly one of the very good. He can use bow and arrow, and he is very skilled. And so it is sort of known that he's very skilled, but people feel that his teacher sort of is impartial, and he favors him a lot. And they complain to him that, okay, you favor Arjuna a lot. Why don't you give us a chance as well? We are equally skilled like him. And so his teacher, I think Dronacharya, was his master, who was teaching these skills to them. Uh, and he gives them a sort of test. And he says, okay, do you see a fish? So I put a fish on a tree, a branch, and it's hanging up there. And you have to hit with your bow, but you cannot directly hit. So there is a pond. In the pond, there is a reflection of the tree and the branches and the fish. And so you have to sort of use the bow like this and look down on the pond and look at the reflection, and then try to hit the fish's eye. And if you can hit that, then yes, you have good skill. So that's the test that Dronacharya gives to these Pandavas, in order to prove that no, Arjun indeed has the right attention. And so the first brother comes, Yudhishthir, uh, and he tries to, put his bow and arrow. And so Dronacharya asks him, okay, tell me, what do you see in the reflection in the pond? And he says, well, I see tree, I see branches. What else do you see? I see fish, I see fish's eye. And then Dronacharya tells him, okay, good, now give Bhim chance. So Bhim comes, he looks into the reflection. Dronacharya asks him the same question, and he gives this almost the same reply. And he says, okay, Bhim, give Arjun the turn. And now Arjun takes the turn, and Dronacharya asks him, I see the fish's eye. I don't see anything else. So this is how Arjuna proved to others that he truly wanted. He knew how to put his attention to get something, to win something, and he was able to, of course, pierce the fish's eye with that bow and arrow. So this sort of story shows how to truly use your attention. So Master used to say that when you're sitting in this meditation hall, which is inside your head, and you have imagined yourself, when you are at the center and you have focused yourself to be in the middle, then you will realize that you will forget what's happening outside. And and it is all a play of attention and imagination. With imagination you are transported yourself, and so essentially your sense perceptions, physical sense perceptions that are whatever you physically with the open eyes you see, those are taken away. You are automatically transported. One other way to sort of think is that imagine that you don't have a body, right? So you're sitting, you can just do this experiment. You're just sitting, and for imagine, if you can imagine that you don't even have a body, if you can ignore the sensations that this body feels, then you'll be able to, in time, if you can ignore it, and if you can suspend your thinking for a minute or so, or short duration, then you'll realize that something else happens. The reason we don't most of the time when we close our eyes, nothing happens because there is a darkness in front of us. And Ishaji used to say laughingly that, of course, there will be darkness because you closed your eyes. What do you expect? The light that was coming in is gone now because you closed your eyes, so you won't be able to see anything. So, but the reason we don't see anything is that our attention is still outside. What we feel, the world that we see around us is still there. We still keep thinking that in front of me there is a camera. If I were to close my eyes, I have camera, I have my monitor. So if you constantly keep feeling that these things are there, those create the reality. Your attention creates that reality. So the moment you disconnect yourself from those reality and imagine, and imagination is a big aid, a very powerful aid in taking you away from what is outside. Because what is outside, according to these masters, are again are not real. These are being projected from your consciousness. He compared this with in the movie theater we have a projector running, and there's a reel that is playing, and then there's a source of light that is being put at the reel, and then that is being displayed on the screen. So similarly, it is our consciousness that is projecting whatever is happening in front of us in these through different masks that we are wearing, and because of which we are led to believe that what we see is real. So but he also showed how step by step we can sort of roll back these reality. So when you go into a meditation room, imagine that you are sitting in the meditation room that looks like your head. It is not your body, and do not think of things that is around you. And slowly you will realize, as you focus more and more by just being there, doesn't matter what's happening to you, but keep your imagination focused as if you are sitting really in a room that is made like your head, with eyes in front, ears on the side. You don't have to see it. This is not an actual seeing game. You won't be able to see through your inner eyes that these things exist. You imagine it with your imagination. As with your imagination, your attention is focused on whatever you are imagining, and that's where things will happen. So if you imagine that you are sitting in the room and you have your master with you, you are imagining the time that you have spent with him, or imagine whatever you want to imagine. Any imagination is good, as long as it is taking you closer to the reality. It's best to imagine your loved ones, and what he said was, you will realize when you imagine your master, the times that you have spent with your master, how he was walking, how he was talking, how he was cracking jokes. Different, it may be different for different people, but whatever you have, once you imagine, you try to remember the details will start filling up itself. You'd realize that, okay, you had forgotten certain, let's say, there was a button in the jacket that he was wearing, or there was there was something that was moving, and he said certain things. Those small details will start appearing to you. And this is, in fact, some of the psychologists do this thing when uh, when they sort of try to uncover what's happening with their patients, and they try to jog their memory, and they are somehow surprised that the patients somehow recall what has happened in their past, even though this is not what the psychologist tried to do. And so it works in a strange way. The more we sort of think about certain things, especially in meditation, when your attention is so much focused on, yes, let's say, your master, or things that are in this room, in the room. He used to conduct several experiments, meditation experiments, meditation retreats, and he used to ask uh, people to do various meditation tricks, where imagine there is a flower in the meditation room, and look at the flowers. Bring the flower close to you. People saw different kind of flowers emerge that are sort of, uh, I mean, they have not seen physically in their own life. So things happen which cannot be truly explained by our mind. But attention, with attention, we have a means given by the creator to discover ourselves. So, and soon you will realize that you are able to operate without the physical body that you have. Your physical body may be still sitting in the meditation somewhere in your house, but your astral body, you'll realize that it has even stronger sense operators, sense perceptions, and they're able to operate independently without the physical body. And you'll be able to fly, and you'll discover a much bigger world than the physical world that is created. Ishiji used to say that that is even a bigger infinity, because that in that bigger infinity, you are able to travel at much faster speed, because in the body that you have in with the sense perception, it doesn't have any weight, but you can still see, you can still hear, you can still touch. So you still are awake, you are still alive, but you can fly at much faster speed. And if you repeat the same process in the astral, with the astral body, where you are meditating in the astral body, then you will be able to discover another body called mind. And with that mind, you'll be able to see how the time space has been created, and how everything has been laid out. And so physics and science is trying their own ways, and trying to discover the meaning of this life. But what Ishaji has talked about, and other masters in the past have given a unique way to individually uh, satisfy our curiosity and experience it. And Ishaji had said that he had stopped asking questions, to great master in I think 42, 1942. So he used to have a lot of questions before that, and he would ask great master for clarification on those questions. And after 42, he stopped asking question, and he said he was able to get all the answers inside himself. Just imagine. So I think this will be a we have been given this unique opportunity in this life to be able to get the answers. And some of the experiences that we are having right now, uh, however sorrow, however strong, uh, uh, it may feel, I think these are ways in which we can ask ourselves as to why this. We can take advantage of these situations and double our meditation effort and find the answers truly inside. I hope you'll be able to practice this. And I also watch Ishuji's meditation videos, and I also run into challenges. So I seek his shelter, and with his grace, I hope he will be able to keep all of us safe and guide us in meditation. Thank you so much for patiently listening to me. I apologize again. My older setup somehow did not work. I realized that I was testing in my different account. So hopefully, from next month onward, this will go much smoother. Thank you. And I wish all of you good health and Ishoji's and Great Master's blessing. Thank you.